Jane Kilcher's outdoor skills and survival skills have captivated watchers for many years. But there were parts of Jane that the watchers never saw or heard. There was drama and stress going on behind the scenes in the big family she married into. She kept quiet for a long time and went through some tough times. This time, though, she broke her silence and named the 5 people she hated the most. Some of them are shocking and some seem too personal, but it's not possible. Check back to find out. The people she didn't like. Jane stopped fishing for money after she married Lee Kilcher so she could build a house. But it wasn't easy to fit in with the Kilcher family, which was very big. There was an honest fact that the camera missed. It was hidden behind fake smiles even when it did happen. Not everyone in the family liked Jane right away. She had to deal with old family customs and rivalries that were kept secret. Eve Kilcher was the first person in the group who made Jane's life miserable. Each other seemed so different from each other that they could never get along. Eve kept her cool and worked hard as a wife. The camera often showed how much she loved taking care of animals and gardening. She played the part of a calm cast member, but when she was with Jane, who was tough and spoke her mind, she had a different attitude. Their differences caused a little stress that grew until they were very different. Eve rarely looked Jane in the eyes and kept her conversations short when Jane was around. She stayed away from Jane because she thought her outspokenness was rude. Jane was annoyed by being alone and having cold conversations. People called Otto Kilcher the man of the house. He was used to having things his way, but Jane never gave up when she was called on it. Before Jane, no one told him what to do, and no one questioned his decisions. Jane wasn't afraid to say what she thought when Otto's choices on the farm seemed out of line. Their first fight started when they had different ideas about how to fix things and store goods. At other times, Jane questioned what he was doing, and Otto fought back. Because he didn't like being criticized, he never had a good relationship with Jane. She was never a part of his family to him, so they never came to an agreement. Jane wanted change, but Otto wanted to be in charge. Shane Kilcher was the quiet one in the family who liked to stay out of trouble. How did Jane put him on her list of people she hates? His relationship with her husband was tense, and it spread to Jane, who always went against family traditions. Shane didn't like how Jane always stood by her husband, even when other family members were wrong. Longtime fans could tell that they didn't get along well, even though it wasn't obvious. Bonnie, Otto's wife, made things worse between them, even though she is known for care. Jane quickly found out that Bonnie's smiles meant more than they seemed. Bonnie hated drama and would do anything to keep the Kilcher name safe. Jane, on the other hand, was honest about what she thought and was ready to fight dysfunctions and stereotypes. The two women didn't talk to each other very often, and Jane felt weird when she had to work on projects with Bonnie. Even though their relationship was awful, it wasn't even close to the next person on Jane's list. Otts Kilcher, the oldest member of the family, had a rough past with Jane as well. People knew that he looked up to old customs and had strict rules about what a real Kilcher should do. I will never live up to his standards. He often didn't care about what she had to say and questioned her skills and ideas. What did Jane think about this? Was that the reason she was on Emily's show? I love being on the dredge and we're finding gold. I really do have a gold fever. Many people thought Jane joined a new show to get back at the Kilcher members she didn't like. A lot of people were shocked when they saw her on the reality show Bering Sea Gold, along with Emily Riddell, a friend and star actress. People were surprised when she showed up in 2022. They thought she was trying her hand at the show. She liked being on Emily's show the most when asked which show she liked best. As soon as she was done with season 11 of Alaska, The Last Frontier, she was busy all winter with Bering Sea Gold. It's easy to have fun here if you keep a good attitude. For Emily's friends who had questions, she had to clear the air. A lot of people asked, "Why is Jane Kilcher on Bering Sea Gold when my good friend first showed up on my dredge in season 15? It's been a part of my life. Only a few miles away is where I grew up. Our families have been together for a very long time. There was no doubt that Jane Kilcher and I would become friends. In 2001, when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter Evie, I needed someone I could trust who wasn't afraid to be on reality TV to help me deal with the stress. Jane was the best choice. Fans quickly figured out that Jane wasn't going to quit her family's reality show, even though she had a disagreement with some of the members. Let's do something else. What is her name? What made her so well known? What does she do that the Kilcher family can't stand? Let's break this story down. We'll have to talk because we're both on the same TV show. The background. She was born on September 14, 1974, as Christina Jane Furman. Bob and Sarah Furman, her parents, lived in Alaska. They trained her brother Bobby, and her sister Jessica. That's how they learned to love nature and being outside. Even though Bob was from Texas, he had a deep love for fishing and showed his daughters how to do it. In this way, fishing became an important part of Jane's life. They moved to Homer when she was 12 years old. She went to middle school and high school there. She met the Kilcher family, who lived next door, at Homer. The American TV star works as a nurse and an actor. People became aware of her after she was on the Discovery Channel. Many people have liked her over the years because she and her husband, Lee Kilcher, were on Alaska, the last frontier. Jane's part on the show is unique because she talks about how much she loves fishing. As she and fish, the camera follows them. Hunt and try to stay alive in the cold weather. People saw more of, among other Kilchers, showing how they live and the problems they face every day in Alaska. If you watched the show and saw Jane fishing, you saw a woman in her home. She worked as a professional fisherwoman before the show and learned a lot from years spent on the seas of Alaska. The cold nights she spent on the water made her a better fisherman and brought her closer to her roots. I sold fish for a living before I moved to the home side. The Aleutian Islands and Hunch William Sound are far away. Family life. Jane and Lee had a simple life in Alaska before the show. In a faraway place, she worked as a nurse. A lot of things linked Jackie and Atz. They grew up in Alaska's Homer. Lee Kilcher is the younger Atz. He doesn't like living off the land like other people do. He likes to explore, just like Jane. He ran across the country when he was 20 years old. Lee quickly learned, though, that Alaska was the best place in the world. His only way of getting meat for his family is to hunt. There's a reason for this. It's been hard for him with his food pantry over the past few years, so he quit and now lives off the land. All he does is hunt and fish. That's why he and Jane were a great match. Lee liked fishing too, so Lee and Jane got along well. That girl had learned to fish all her life and was very good at it. Her skills at finding burbot were amazing, and she was great at trapping fish and shellfish. In 2011, Jane joined the cast of Alaska, the Last Frontier. When Jane joined the group of the show about the Kilcher family's extended lifestyle, it wasn't hard for her to get people's attention. Fans admired how much she loved Alaska and how quickly she got used to living there. She was married to Dikran Kusuni before she met Atz. They had a daughter named Piper. Lee also has a kid named Etienne. Fans loved how Lee and Jane promised to take care of their close family. Their efforts to keep their kids safe gave the story of the show more meaning. A lot of people want to know how Jane's show began. She was on the show, but why? Was it for love, or was it just for the money? Check back to find out. The Last Wild Place. It all started in December 2011 with The Last Frontier. Fans fell in love with the show right away because it gave watchers a clear look at their huge Alaskan home. They showed off old farming tools and treasures that are important to the Kilcher family. One of these is a real house that has been turned into a museum. The channel started making the TV show, which starred Otto, and other family members in the clan. Fans thought the show was good and gave it good scores for several seasons. They were interested in how the Kilchers lived out in the wild. The Last Frontier is one of many TV shows that are set in and filmed in Alaska. All right. People in the state are now proud of the fact that they host more TV shows per person than any other state. Even though there are just over 735,000 people living in Alaska, there are a lot of television shows about the state. People are drawn to the huge open space, which also shows off the area's natural beauty. Their farm was about 218 miles away from Anchorage. It has been around since 1964. Homer is a small city, but it has a Safeway, several schools, a public library, 2 newspapers, and a few radio stations. About 5,000 people live there, and it gives the Kilchers what they need to stay alive. The show made Jane more well-known. She became a name that people all over the world knew. Her skill at fishing and ability to think of new ways to do things have been key to the family's survival and the success of the show. Fans were glued to their screens, eager to find out what was going on with the seasons. The show became well known and stayed that way for a long time. Not many people who watched the show dislike it. They said it showed them what it's like to have a hard life in Alaska, which is one of the most remote places in the world. Fans watched more than 100 shows and a number of behind-the-scenes stories of the last frontier while it was on TV. More than one season, the behind-the-scenes events caught the attention of fans. They make it seem like the cast is in dangerous situations, but in fact, the family is surrounded by a production crew and doctors are ready to help if they need it. Even though they made people think they were never in danger. Some critics said that most reality TV is made up and turns small events into tragic mistakes that could kill people. They were ready to get help if they were in real danger and be taken to the hospital right away or given care that could save their lives. There was a film group all around the Kilchers, even though it looked like they were out in the deserts by themselves. The show made it seem like the family lived in the middle of nowhere, but that wasn't really the case. Their 600 acres of land was big, and it felt like they were far away from city life, but they were only 12 miles from people. It would only be a short trip to the nearest city for the reality stars to leave their life of rough living, which many of their fans never knew. Some people said the show was fake and planned. Even though producers don't give them lines, they always set up scenes for the actors to act out. They said that Alaska, the Last Frontier, is the same as other reality shows. Some critics said the show's creativity made it less interesting, but its numbers keep going through the roof, and Discovery calls it one of the best reality shows in Alaska. Are you one of the many Kilcher fans who wants to know who the other members are? We are going to share that information. Watch out for now. Attila Kuno Kilcher is the head of the Kilcher family and a member of the clan. He's now the person you go to for everything. He was born on September 2, 1947, and is the oldest son of his parents. They built a house in Alaska, which turned out to be the best thing they could have done for Atz and his family. Ozzie Kilcher, Wartilla Hepp, Faye Graham, Catkin, Kilcher Burton, Stella Vera Kilcher, Mossy Kilcher, and Sunrise Schoberg are his siblings. As children, they loved Alaska's beauty and formed strong bonds with the land as adults. Their father was a learned man who knew a lot. As a senator for Alaska, he helped write the state's constitution and spoke 12 languages. Their mom loved opera and used to want to be a singer. She eventually wrote a column about everyday life in Alaska and was one of the first women to work as a writer in the state. Ewell went to Alaska in 1940 and used the land he was given to build a house. It went from 160 acres to more than 600 acres. His wife took care of the kids and the house while he went on business trips as a senator. Atz's dad had big plans for his family. He wanted to give them a house that they would love for hundreds of years. In the 1990s, he set up a family trust fund to protect the lands for Kilchers to come. He didn't want his children to get different parts of the land when he died. He meant for it to last. That was how much Ewell loved Alaska. His brothers and he all have equal rights to the homestead and must do what their father wants. Otz became a big star on Discovery. Only Otto's brother or sister became a co-star on the Discovery show. The senior ATS is the person to talk to when things are getting crazy. He hunts bears and other dangerous animals to keep his brother's herd safe and living. In Alaska, ATS is well known. He is not only famous on TV, but he also sings and writes music. Blondie Dupree Kilcher is his wife. The person from New York was looking for excitement in a new place. On her way, she stopped in Alaska and got a job at a cannery there. She met Atstat this time and fell in love with his songs and stories about his family history. As they raised 4 kids, they liked the same things: music, sports, and being alone. Otto Kilcher is already known to you. The child born in 1952 is Yule and Ruth Kilcher's 6th child. Like Ats, he spent time in nature and became spirit of adventure. Otto is called the Fixer because he is always able to fix things. As a child, he never skipped his jobs and always did them the right way, even if it meant hard work on the farm. She is married to the 73-year-old, an expert on wildlife. They met when she was helping to clean up the oil spill in Valdez from Exxon. Before she moved to Alaska and fell in love with Otto, the woman from California was a vegetarian. They'd been together for more than 20 years. Otto loved her and called her his hippie chick. Their boys' names are August and Tori. Charlotte also learned how to live with Otto's kids from a previous relationship. Levi and Evan are her pride and joy. Jane really likes this person. They get along well because they work together in the garden. Otto has shown his sons how to live in Alaska. He taught them what he knew. One of his sons, Elvin Kilcher, is very good at removing tools. He learned most of Otto's skills. People who like him call him a jack of all trades because he can do many things. The things he does are hunt, gather, and grow. He helped his dad build a hot tub in one scene. Eve Kilcher, his wife, looks a lot like Charlotte. She helps her family by teaching them how to grow and pick vegetables in Alaska's short growing season. Because she loves gardening, she has 4 months to grow and harvest enough vegetables for her family to eat all year. And Eve's skills always work out. She is called Green Thumb because she always knows when to plant something. In Alaska, she and Elvin built a house. They have 2 lovely children and enjoy Alaska's peaceful but dangerous weather. Shane Kilcher is the next member of the clan. Lenadra Carroll and the son of Ats Kilcher. He had a bad fall while working on his cabin, which made things more difficult. For the reason that he broke his back and missed a lot of the show, he never stops telling people how lucky he is to be living. He has 3 brothers and all 3 have been on the show. Karen Kilcher, Shane's high school sweetheart, is now his wife. She was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and has American roots. They got married in 1992 and have been together for more than 30 years. There is a daughter and 3 kids living with them. Shane likes the normal jobs that most people in his family have, but Kelly, who just finished nursing school at Merrick College in California, works at South Peninsula Hospital in Homer, Alaska. Levi, another one of Otto's kids, is also in the show. People in his family call him the academic. He got his PhD in physical oceanography and now works at the National Wind Technology Center in Boulder, Colorado. Levi knows a lot about combined development and marine hydrokinetics. His job is to collect information and do study so that tools for designing hydro turbines can be made. Many people love the show, and Jewel Kilcher, who plays the lead role. She was born and raised in Homer and is used to living in Alaska. She liked music and shows even when she was a teenager. When Jewel was small, she played music with her dad a lot. They sang and yokeled together as they went around the state of Alaska. The famous cast is now known all over the world as a band, producer, actor, author, and poet. 4 times she's been nominated for a Grammy Award, and she has won it 3 times. Jewel loves her Alaskan roots, but that's not where she belongs. Case, her son, often shows up on the show when he comes to visit her family in Alaska. Like any real Kilcher, likes Alaska and gets along well with Levi. Jewel is also staying away from her family for another reason. She really didn't get along with her mom, Lenadra Carroll, and said she stole millions of dollars from her. That's what she wrote in her book, and fans were shocked by the serious charges she brought against her mother. Jewel worked on a charity group with her mom and brother Shane in the past. Higher Grounds for Humanity was made. Jewel is no longer engaged, though, because they no longer get along. Jane isn't the only one in her family who speaks her mind. Many people saw Jewel as a rebel as well. She told me scary things about her father over the years. In her book, The Architecture of All Abundance, 7 Foundations to Prosperity, she wrote about her time as a girl living on the Kilcher farm. The two of them get along great now, but Jewel's father was very strict when she was a kid. She told stories about the bad things that happened to her when she was a girl and left home when she was 15. Her dad's time in the Vietnam War made it hard for him to be a good parent. Because she was abused, her home was a dangerous place to be. Her father abused her for 7 years before she left home, and she grew up there. She ran away from home when she was 15 years old, leaving her family's farm behind. For a year, she lived in her car and worked any job she could find to make money. She didn't have an address to put on her job forms, which made it hard to get hired, but that didn't bother her. She used her skill to get off the streets. Gems sang everywhere she could, like in restaurants. A lot of people liked the Kilcher farm, but the singer doesn't like it, because it makes her remember bad things. The singer was lost and angry as a child, because her mother wasn't around. That was the worst time for her because she couldn't feel her mother's love. After a few years, the singer's relationship with her father got better, but her relationship with her mother got worse. She only went back to her old life when her singing career took off. From 2008 to 2010, Lenedra was her boss. Jewel broke off their deal after she had a sad thought she had been ripped off by her mother for years. Not only did Jewel cut her off, she also broke up with her. She makes the family even more interesting to watch, even though she hasn't been on the show very often. She had a hard childhood, but she often feels good about how things turned out. It helped her be on her own. The singer now uses her time and money to help young women who are poor. Nikos is the next Kilcher member. The 41-year-old man loves to say that he is a musician, a fireman, a feminist, and someone who loves the water. He also likes music, just like his dad and sister Jewel. He got married to Kate Kilcher in 2014 and started a family in Homer. Nikos Kilcher Pilgrim is the name of his self-titled record, and he is a regular on the show. People may think the Kilcher family is happy all the time, but they have had some hard time. Jane can't let go of her anger towards some Kilcher members for more reasons. It broke the bond she had with Lee. Where did their relationship go? Let's find out. Love, family, and marriage. They got married in 2005. They both loved music and being outside. Piper was born on June 4, 2003. Kilcher was born on May 12, 2001. Due to the negative reactions the family got on the show, their kids have only had small roles on the show. Their parents felt it was best to protect their privacy. The couple has been through hard times together and helped each other get through them. Living in the harsh woods puts the family in danger and can even hurt them. On his hike in Otter Cove in 2015, Lee had an accident. He hurt some of his ribs and both of his lungs when he fell. He hurt his arm, shoulder, ankle, and hip. Fans were shocked when Jane announced her divorce because she was there for Lee during this hard time and helped her fully recover. They had been together for 17 years and been through a lot together. What went wrong? The reason they chose to break up is unknown. People who watched thought that her marriage to Lee was strong and happy. In 2014, Jane and Atz made a bad choice that cost them a lot. It is against the law for them to use a helicopter to hunt a black bear. It is against the law to hunt bears in a number of ways, and Alaska follows these rules. It looked like Jane and Lee either didn't care about them or didn't know about them. Their air hunt to kill a black bear entertained fans, but the police were very angry with them for breaking the law. In Alaska, it is against the law to hunt from a helicopter. They went on their bear adventure in a helicopter and were charged with a crime. Along with Lee and Jane, the production company Wilma TV, which is a part of Discovery, was also charged. Even though the charges were dropped, they had to pay a huge fine. Because of the rule, their production company had to pay $17,000, 0 cents. They got into a huge fight with the other family members over this. People who didn't like Jane rushed to her right away. It was their decision, but she was the one who had to deal with the backlash. Jane and Lee were in love with each other, but not everyone understood or agreed with their relationship. People who watched the show called them whiny, dramatic, and irresponsible, and even members of their own family said they were bad parents. They said Lee was a bad husband and father, and Jane was cold and unloving. Jane was always known to look out for her family, and didn't mind standing up to people when she had to. Jane fought to protect her husband and marriage when she was mad and hurt. I can't believe how much hate there is for someone who is so poetic, doesn't judge, and talks from the heart. Our show films us for 200 hours, which are then cut down to 40-minute episodes. Our editors can't possibly write about everything that goes on in our lives. People call me cold, and I don't love my husband. My husband and I are so much alike that I love him so much. At least once a week, Lee does nice things that interest me. Some people have called him a whiner, but he's not one. It's coming, I promise. I'm not afraid to say what I think and stand up for my family. It was times like these when Jane had to explain her marriage to a critic and some Kilcher members. She and Lee had been through some tough times together. They believed in each other, helped each other, and dreamed together. They also had fun together by shooting and fishing. But it wasn't enough to keep them together. And in 2023, Jane told everyone that they were getting a divorce. She wrote, "We go on social media. I'm sorry that Atsley is leaving me, but I can't change the situation. It hurts that I lost my best friend, but I guess that's just life. I will not be stopped." She never said why they broke up or what she thought about who would have care of their kids. Fans were shocked when they broke up. How Jane lives now. Jane is busy and won't be leaving your TV sets. Jane Kilcher is in the family story, even though she and Lee aren't together anymore. People have always thought of her as a strong and lively woman. She's a very smart woman who has already done everything she can. She has her own reality TV show, works as a nurse, fishes, hunts, and lives on her own. Every day, she makes her way through the rough and remote desert. She does all of that while also being a mom and going on the trips you've seen her on TV. You can't deny that Jane Kilcher is a good friend and a loving mother. Even though she has been criticized, she used to be a nice wife too. People who watched the show and questioned or judged her choices or actions have also been mean to her. She's being strong and determined though. Because we let the cameras into our lives, people say mean things about my weight, my looks, my character, and my marriage. I'm so happy to be a Kilcher. If you see trolls on the internet, block them. It's never true, and cruel in general. The 51-year-old is going on a trip to see the world. She has gotten better at singing by learning to play the piano, cello, and guitar. Her net worth is thought to be around $2 million, 0 cents, most of which came from her time on the television show. Even though she lives in the public eye, she is still very private and makes sure that no one is looking too closely at her kids. She still has a strong bond with nature and loves life in the old-fashioned way. Her way of life shows that she cares about the world and gives people a balanced look at both modern and traditional ways of living. Jane Kilcher stays busy on social media and loves being single. She writes about her travels to keep her friends up to date. What do you think about Jane Kilcher? Type your ideas in the box below. Thanks for seeing. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you liked this movie. Watch the other videos on your screen before you leave.